So I've owned this Model Y Launch Edition now for a little over a month. I'm going to go through what I like, what I dislike, some things that came incorrect from the factory, and everything I've done to it since then. Now, starting with the exterior of the vehicle, since this has come out, they've released Diamond Black, which is a new $1,500 option. Tesla wants you to pay $1,500 for the color black. That should be free, white should be free, and a gray should be free. Now, Quicksilver, red, blue, fine if you want to charge a little extra. Personally, I think Tesla's prices for paint is extremely overdone. They're almost like up to a Porsche level where they're charging for beautiful colors like chalk and Miami blue, whereas Tesla like, hey, black, $1,500. Overall, this vehicle has been excellent. There's a few things that I don't like that we will talk about. Now, these Helix 2.0 wheels, these take the range from 327 miles to 303 miles. Now, if you watch the range test I did, I drove it from Phoenix, Arizona up to Las Vegas. I got 310 miles out of this. Now, keep in mind, I went the speed limit. And I also kept the air conditioning off the whole time. And I had about 3 or 4 kilowatt hours left of battery pack on that road trip that I did. Now, another thing that I absolutely love about this is I got the paint protection film put on the entire vehicle, and I also got Expel XR Plus ceramic tint. I got all of that put on at dynamic tint. And one of the issues with the previous Model Y was the roof. The roof just let through a ton of heat. But they've redesigned this roof. It looks like Mercedes-Benz S-Class roof where it has that purple hue to it. And it really has done an excellent job at rejecting heat. Now, it's not gotten extremely hot yet here in Phoenix, but up to 80 or 90 degrees, it's been totally fine. We'll see it how it is when it's 100 to 120 here, rejecting heat. But I think that is an excellent upgrade that Tesla has done. The other thing that I absolutely love about this thing is the rear bumper here. I love how it sticks out so far. It actually looks like it has a diffuser, even though that doesn't. They did a really nice job with this redesign. You have didn't do it. You have your launch badge here, and I also put the dark letters on. Tyler at Dynamic Tint did that. It's very annoying. So the dark letters are on the back there. Now this opens up the trunk, and I'm going to show you something that I don't like. You have this sub trunk down here, right? And this is really nice because there's a ton of storage, but see how it's not sitting flush? The reason it's not sitting flush is because they designed this little notch here so you could keep the parcel cover stowed away if you're not using it. The problem is it never sits flat enough for you to not then have this sitting up just slightly. And it's like, I don't know how they made that mistake. It's actually a little better there. Maybe I just had it upside down. But either way, you have to sit this so flush and planted. If they just made it like a centimeter deeper, you would never have this issue. So that's one thing that's slightly annoying. Now, another reminder is the rear of this has this button here, and now the seats automatically are pressed down, and that's a really nice feature. And then what they also did, so you don't have to go back into the trunk, is you can press this button here, and then they will automatically fold back up. So that is a really nice feature, nice luxury feature that they've added to this vehicle. The other thing that they've done is they've added swing mode, which basically you hit a button and the air moves side to side in the vehicle, blowing you from different directions. Now, it's very hard to say that. The other thing I noticed, and this is even before I got tint on the car, which really gives you the full rejection, is it gets cool so much quicker than my 2020 Tesla Model Y. I mean, it's immediately just cools down in conjunction with the cooled seats and the better air conditioning system. I mean, it's excellent how cool it stays in the cabin. Now, some of you are like, what do you mean? My 2006 Lexus air conditioning works. I know, but Lexus has made cars for a long time, and Tesla hasn't. So where Tesla's very good at making electric vehicles, they weren't very good at making just cars in general, getting the panels and everything to fit together, getting the paint to be on correctly. So Tesla's like doing the reverse, like where all these other manufacturers are trying to make an EV. Tesla's really good at making an EV, but they had some struggles with putting a car together correctly. But the new 3 and the Y, in my opinion, are done great. They're done, we're not going to say great. We're going to say they're done very well, because they still do have a few issues, but it's far less than it was in the past. And the main things like comfortable suspension and a quiet cabin have been achieved. There's just still some build quality things that we'll talk about. I'm going to make a separate video on my Model 3, which has had a bunch of issues, and I'll list them all out in that video. The other thing is this is a launch edition, so this costs $60,000. The new Model Y now that's non-launch is $48,990. And for a 0 to 60 of 4.6 seconds, plus all of the technology that this comes with, you can get the full self-driving, you can get the upgraded wheels, you can add all these various features a la carte. And I think that at a $48,000 price point for this is excellent and above the BMW X3 or Mercedes-Benz GLC, which come with nothing. This comes with a ton just as is. And I think this is a better vehicle. I think they're safer, you get better performance at a cheaper cost, and it's far more efficient. One question I've gotten a ton for people that own the older Model Y is, will an aftermarket suspension bring it up to the level of the new suspension in the new Tesla Model Y? The answer is no, because it's not just the suspension that's been improved. It's absolutely everything that comes after the suspension. So if you go to Unplugged, if you go to Tint, if you go to Mountain Pass Performance, any of those companies, you can get a suspension that will make your car more comfortable, and you will get some adjustability to dial it in to exactly how you want it to be. The problem is when you hit something, what happens after the suspension, the way that sound is reverberated and sent through the cabin is just better in this entire vehicle. This Model Y has better sound dampening. Everything about it is better. So will the suspension improve the ride quality? Yes, it will. It will not bring it up to as good as this is because you can't improve absolutely everything else in the vehicle. The other thing I want to mention is what tint I went with. So it's the Expel XR Plus ceramic tint, and I went with 35 all around the vehicle, 35%. So 35% is the legal limit in Arizona on the front windows. On the back windows, you can go as dark as you want. But since from the factory these windows come darker, this is at like a 20%. And I made the mistake on my previous Model Y in my opinion, I went a little too dark. So I just went with 35 all around the vehicle, and that has been great. And I did not get tint on the interior because the new upgraded glass is great. But in order to go an extra step further to make sure no heat comes through, Vion has finally released their sunshade on the interior of the vehicle, and it fits perfectly. It's better than anything else on the market. It's $59, free shipping, and code Gjeebs will save you 10% off on their website. So they make this for the old Model Y, new Model 3, new Model Y, whatever you have that needs a sunshade, Vion has it. And I've been with them for years. They continually improve this, and they're now, they're either shipping these or taking pre-orders, but these generally go quickly when the summer months come because the fitment is excellent and they're easy to install. Now, on to the interior of the vehicle. If there's one thing that I've found is, I don't know what the proper word is, but this is definitely a marketing device. Like, I don't know how much use this is actually getting. And I think it's cool to say, oh, you know, my Tesla has a screen in the back and I can do all these things. Yes, you can connect your Bluetooth headphones back here and listen to something different than the front of the vehicle is listening to. So in theory, this is a really cool high resolution screen, and it's all built into the infotainment system. Oh, Miss Rachel pops up. Hello, friends. 152 million views. That's so much money. Let's look up what that is. 152 million divided by 1,000 equals 152,000. She would make about $5 per view. So times 5 is $760,000 Miss Rachel made off that video. What a hero she is. But anyways, I just find that this screen, I don't know how much you're actually going to use it, because if you have kids, they're going to be up in their car seat, and I don't know that looking down is going to be the most comfortable thing. And guys, let me know in the comments. I just personally have not found a real use for this screen. And then if your kids are older and not using car seats, I guess they could be watching this at superchargers. I don't know how much you're actually going to use the screen. But it is nice that it's there because it works perfectly. Everything is, it's like having an iPad in the back of your vehicle, so it works really nicely. Now, while I may not have a use for this rear screen, I think what Tesla is preparing for is their robotaxi. If that actually comes to market, this screen right here will be useful for passengers to start their ride. So I've actually seen that in pictures. That could be a great use case for this rear screen. I could also see Tesla offering like a $35,000 Tesla Model Y, and it's all stripped out. No rear screen, no heated seats in the back, take the motors out for the seats. They could do a lot of stuff to strip this out, like the Slate truck, and just drop the cost for people that don't need that extra technology. The comfort of the seats back here and the space is excellent. Again, not having a tunnel right here like for the drivetrain, so you get way more space than you would in a BMW X3 or Mercedes. And the back seats do recline. You can actually just use the button on the bottom here, right down in this corner here, and you can use them to. So again, nice feature there. They're only heated in the back, which is fine. It's very few cars have cooled seats in the back. Again, on the launch editions, you have the Alcantara trim, carpeting in here. And then the windows in the rear have the acoustic glass here, which is really nice, just keeping all the sound out. The sound quality in this cabin is excellent. Another accessory that I've really liked is this little parcel shelf here. It's from Spigen. I'll have it linked below, but it just slides perfectly and gives you so much more functionality because this is really deep down here, and this can be for things that you need to access easily. And this is their screen cleaner as well with that little device. So yeah, this has been a great accessory as well that I will have linked below. There's a few things I really like on the infotainment system here that I'll briefly show you, and then we're going to drive the vehicle and talk about it a little bit more. As far as things that you should have on in here, you definitely want to have your Sentry mode on, so you just click that button right there. And I also leave the lights in auto. That seems to be the best. I've never had any issues with that. Acceleration, you can see it says chill and sport. Normally it would say chill and normal, but because this is a launch edition, it came with the acceleration boost. The acceleration boost adds about 100 horsepower to your vehicle. So a non-launch edition without the boost should be right around 360 horsepower. This takes you up to like 455 or 445, which is what we just did on the dyno. Now, the car does have a turn signal stalk, but doesn't have shift stalks, and it actually has an auto shift beta. So if you turn that on, it will assume the gear that you want to go in, reverse or forward depending on your surroundings, so that's kind of a cool feature. The other thing that you can access from here under seats is you're able to fold down and fold up the rear seats just from tapping a button right here, and then you can unfold and send it back. So you have a lot of control over the vehicle. You can see here I can adjust the passenger seat with my control, but since someone is sitting in it, I can't currently control them, so that's locked out. They also have this child lock feature here, so if your kids are screwing around in the back seat, you can lock them out and give them no control. Be like, this is what communism's like. Do you like that? Do you like not having choices? And then you unlock them once their behavior improves. So that's a good thing. So I have a dedicated video on what settings for your vehicle. So I'll go through that in a separate vehicle, but there's just a lot of really good things in here that they keep improving. And then if you click this right here, and a lot of you already know this, but hold Bluetooth, for example, and you can drag that and add it to your dock. So there's some customization that they let you do. Overall, the infotainment system is excellent, being improved upon how it already was. The other thing that people, I guess, don't know about or forget about, if you tap this screen right here, brings up a lot of cool features on the side. So this I refer to as poverty mode. Once you are not paying for premium connectivity, you'll get this view. When you're paying for premium, you get the Google Maps view. This takes away the traffic patterns. So you can see here, see the traffic, tap that, no traffic. Okay, so that's all good. These are points of interest. This is all of the local charging stations. Tap that. And then this is the weather. So this will give you like a zoomed out view of the U.S. Wow, Wyoming's getting wiped out right now with a little storm. Shout out Canada. What else can we shout out? Shout out Nova Scotia. Let's see, who else? London, Belgium, France, Italy, Rome. There's the Ukraine. Popular place now. Yeah, so that's a cool feature there. You can zoom all over the world and see what type of weather is happening. So let's go take the vehicle for a drive. All right, so I turned on the auto shift feature. So I'm going to show you how that works right now. So you'll see in this portion of the screen when I put my foot on the brake, it says highlights the gas pedal. So I'll tap that for reverse. Okay. And then you'll see activate drive. Foot on the brake and just turn. Now it puts the car in drive. So you can see how you will really get used to having that feature there, and it will get better and better with time. I'm still a little hesitant on it, confirming, okay, is it going forward or backward? But ultimately, the technology is going to get better. I think it's a cool feature. So the other thing I was curious about is I put it into full self-driving mode in a parking garage, and I'm curious to see if it's putting a left turn on. It says no left turn, and it wants to go left. Okay, so that's interesting. But this is the thing, here's my thing about full self-driving, is there are so many people that are like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's very cool. I think Tesla is far ahead of anyone else, in terms of an OEM selling you something that has this capability. It's excellent. But as far as it being used, like, look, here we go, oncoming traffic. Okay, AI didn't take out a human. But as far as it being used, like, fully autonomously, it's just not quite there, but yet it's still very impressive. You know what I mean? So I'm not someone that says, like I see all these people online, they're like, I drove 3,000 miles and had 1 disengagement. I'm like, I drive 10 miles and have 10 disengagements through, work zones, and like it's going to hit curbs and things like that. So I think it's very good. It's impressive, but it's also, you know, it has a lot to go to be fully autonomous. That's all I'm saying. All right. Now this car does also, it's funny, I have no destination in, and FSD is just driving me around. Do we hit the wall? All right, we're not going to hit the wall. So the car does have the acceleration boost. The 0 to 60 time, as I tested, is 4.1 seconds. I confirmed that. Surprisingly, this Model Y makes 10 less horsepower than the previous Model Y with the acceleration boost. I measured them on the same dyno, and those were the results that I got. So it's just so quick. And when you rip it like just above 30, it is so smooth and quick. And the question you have to ask yourself is this still one of the best options out there in terms of like a crossover SUV? It still is. Now, if you're looking to lease something or get a cheap lease, you might want to look to maybe a Kia or an Ioniq or something like that, or like a Mustang Mach-E. They're having trouble moving those. So in terms of the deal on it right now, if you're going to buy it outright, it's a pretty good deal. But you have to keep this car for at least 5 years. There's so many people that will buy cars in Tesla or BMW or whatever, and they're like, yeah, but I lost value. I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to keep the car. Keep the car. Like, my Model Y, my original Model Y, I bought it for 48 grand. And I'm selling it here shortly. I'm going to be selling it for 27,000 because there's a ton of upgrades on it. But anyways, doesn't lose that much value if you keep it for like a 5-year period. If you keep it for 2 years, look at that Model 3 Performance. That looks great. That looks excellent. But yeah, if you keep it for an extended amount of time, you're not going to lose as much value on it. And that's my recommendation to you, is like, get the car that you actually want to drive and own for a long period of time. Don't try to just get into a Model Y. Get your current car paid off, and that will be the best way forward. And then long term, financially, you'll be in a better position as well. The other thing people want to know about is insurance. This cost me, I sent a tweet a while ago, and I was actually a little off. This cost me like $101 a month. I use State Farm currently, and every 6 months I shop it. I do not care what insurance company I'm with. I care that I have good coverage and that the rate is the cheapest. So I keep the coverage the same all the time. I shop it every 6 months and switch and save literally about $1,000 a year by doing that. So that's that. So if you're looking at a BMW X3, I think that is a great option. I think a Mercedes-Benz GLC is a great option. The Audi Q5 is they're falling off a little bit. The technology isn't quite to where I'd say BMW being the best of those. And I think you should try the Model Y as well. I don't think that absolutely everyone should own electric vehicles and you have to have an electric vehicles. That's not me. But I do think it is an excellent platform. I think you'll enjoy it if you give it a chance. At least give it a chance if you're shopping for a vehicle, because there's so many features on this. And the way that it drives, like for me, the way this thing drives, it's so precise and quick, and now it's quiet, good sound system. I just think it's a very hard package to beat, and it comes loaded with a lot of the options. The biggest downside is like, you want to switch the wheels, it's $2,000. You want this paint, it's $1,000. So those things are a little overpriced. But overall, the car has been excellent to me in my first month of ownership. Now, if you want to see what settings you need to turn off in your new vehicle, click this video right here. That's going to be very helpful to you, showing what settings need to be turned off to get the most functionality out of your vehicle.